Good morning, Wednesday again, I think. Don't know these days. Um, the weather report for those of you who are interested. If you're living in the Waikato, what's it like?
She's a very heavy pea super here today. I can hardly see the car in the driveway. She's so thick.
Rotorua the same, Pete?
Rotorua is the same. I can't see the golfers, but that's probably because there are none. They really should be at work.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'd hate to break the pattern, but we've had light ground mist, which has dissipated, and now we're suffering from sunshine, blue skies, clear weather. It's a wonderful day here in the deep south.
You can see it's fine in Wairuru.
Oh, yes. So, hot topics. Pete, Treaty of Waitangi, what's going on? That's this whole week, isn't it?
Yeah, the Waitangi Tribunal is taking place in Wairuru Marae.
Yep.
I, if you want to watch it, anybody wants to watch it, you can go onto YouTube and just type in Waitangi Tribunal, and you should be able to see the links. And they record the whole day, so there's some interesting stuff's come up for us. One of the topics of conversation yesterday was the Parter brothers.
Okay.
And particularly how it applies to George, was it, breaking his neck in Singapore on the confidence course,
Yep.
1989, and only receiving some form of recompense just a few years ago. So it just shows that, what we're fighting against is very real,
Yep.
and uh, and it's still there because you know they're trying to highlight the fact that how do you prove an accident that occurs when you're overseas under military training, when there's probably no records taken other than you do a limp and a bit of a hobble back to the RAP and and then say, oh, I hurt my ankle or I hurt my knee or something, and then there's years later, your joints kaput and you can't prove anything to ACC because there's no records.
Yep.
So, it'll be, that's only day two. There's still 2 days to go, I think it is. Yeah, I
Wednesday,
think it is
Thursday,
on
Friday.
Friday. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So that will be good to watch. The other thing for me is we've written another letter to Wellington. We're waiting for a response, but this one is a bit more pointed, and probably that's all I'm going to say at the moment.
And I received the receipt to say that it arrived. Well done. Thanks, Pete.
Yes, yes. I never knew the address of Parliament until the other day. One, one Molesworth Street, Pipitea, Wellington.
Well
Oh, so
done.
this one went by slow mail.
But sent both ways.
Ah, good.
Yeah, email and snail mail.
So it was it Veterans Affairs who were in the questioning yesterday, Pete?
Yes, it was. One of the things they've been questioned about is that they're very slow. That the fact that they've got paper and pencils, as in paper forms, filling out, etc., etc. They want to go digital, and when they were asked why, they described because they're part of NZDF. NZDF is set up as a warfighting machine, and Veterans Affairs is attached to NZDF, but that's to pick up the pieces.
Right.
So there's a whole lot of stuff that NZDF wants to keep secret, so they can't share that with Veterans Affairs digitally. So I don't know. It's a big can of worms. It's a huge can of worms. And to me, it just highlights the fact of why are they there in the first place? Why aren't they back where they started with work and income?
Yep. Yep.
You
And
know?
so there's if they want to go digital, that's a big budget item. And
Yeah.
under a current government that's asking everybody to save, what is it, 6%, 7% or something like that?
Here's the thing, though, is I believe if they went digital, they could save a fortune.
Yep.
Mm.
Because I don't know about you, but when I go to my GP now, I book my appointment online. I
Yep.
get prescriptions online. I
Yep.
can communicate with my doctor or my nurses online,
Yep.
and it's the cost of having your internet.
And
pretty
you get
much.
the bill online.
And you get the bill online. Oh, yeah, definitely get that. And you get to pay it online.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know
Hey,
why we need a doctors in town.
yeah.
All right, so it's something to look forward to, that perhaps we're going to get a general improvement for veterans
Yeah.
and
Well,
service through Veterans
Good
Affairs.
too, yeah. Yeah.
I guess the best way to sum it up for me was what we've just described about our own GPs is we now have, to me, a reasonably fast, very smooth medical system that flows both ways. That's what I believe Veterans Affairs need,
Yep,
something that flows both ways.
yep,
Yeah.
because it is it's a digital world out there.
It's live.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and the younger generations coming through, or those currently serving, live in a digital world where they're used to going onto their phone, accessing whatever they need, whenever they need it,
Yep.
24/7.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And just while we talk about Veterans Affairs, I noticed an article yesterday somewhere in the news. I think it was at one of the overseas papers. Veterans Affairs in the US had a slash of 80,000 staff.
Whoa.
So, I wonder whether that's going to happen on a similar scale to New Zealand Veterans Affairs as they try to save a few dollars. Have their staff already been reduced? But I did see articles last year, was it, where they were saying they had brought people in to remove the backlogs and things like that. So the current state is a little bit up in the air. Interesting point about Alec Brunt. He was the deputy. He took over when Bernadine McKenzie left. Wasn't
Hmm.
aware that he had been appointed as the new head. Or is he still the interim man until they find someone?
He did say yesterday he's still acting.
Right. Okay. So he's still the acting head. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. That's just a little thing about Veterans Affairs that's happening to our brother veterans in the US at the moment.
Yeah.
80,000 staff. That'd put a bit of a cog in the or block in the works.
Yeah, 80,000 though for their Veterans Affairs is probably a small number.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah,
you
but
have a look at their massive hospitals they've got, the Walter Reed and all them, they'd
yeah,
have
yeah.
80,000 people in them.
Mm.
But that's that's 80,000 people who were doing a job, who were greasing the wheels or the oil in the gears of the
Mm.
functioning of Veterans Affairs. And if they disappear, then those who remain have got to pick up 80,000 bits of work.
That's the population of Rotorua.
Well, there you go. That's a big chunk of people in New Zealand standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So let me have a look. So for those of you who were in the green machine, yesterday was 180 years of the New Zealand Army. Kicked off in 1845 under the Militia Act, officially establishing the New Zealand military forces. So there you go. First regular force founded in 1860, and the formal adoption of the New Zealand Army name in the 1950s. And, the New Zealand Army Facebook page were quite generous in their comments about how people need to be supported, and I think that's great. But when we have a government that's slashing defence numbers, slashing defence budget, yeah, don't know how that works. And we have an external requirement now, it would appear, to spend 2% of GDP on NZ defence. So we've got cut the numbers and, we're going to spend more. Don't know how that goes together, but I think it's something like watch this space and see what happens in the future.
There's another bit in the middle too, which is to grow the income,
To grow the income.
yes, of the country. So
Yeah.
then when you don't
Oh,
have to slash so much, you can add a little bit more of the growth to what you
right.
got to provide. So
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Quite true. Generate
mm,
extra bucks.
yeah.
Or in the case of the government, extra tax, is it?
Um,
Slightly.
No, well, that could be one way, but the best way is to grow the economy,
Okay.
both internally and externally. So up
Well, I see
the exports.
we've just got an increase in our pension of 3%.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
There we go. That'll be interesting, won't it? Trying to work out how much.
Oh, $20. It won't go far.
It's about $20. Yep, yep.
how many
I've
cups of
got some
coffee is that?
interesting information here, gentlemen.
Yep.
I received a letter from my local RSA telling me about the New Zealand Defence Force's income protection and annual medical assessment. Now, evidently, when the troops leave the New Zealand Defence Force, they're not covered by ACC anymore. ACC won't cover them for mental illness, chronic illness, hernias, back issues. So they're bringing in this scheme. It's a income protection scheme, and each person will be allowed to or use it for 3 years from once they leave.
Oh,
So I presume that's a little stopgap between Defence Force and I don't know what happens in 3 years. It doesn't say.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But that will cover them for ACC anyway until 3 years are up. And then the back pain will start.
That's the pocket pain.
That's surely that's got to fly right in the face of the legislation of ACC, which is a no fault, no blame scheme,
Yeah.
because you cannot sue your employer any longer
No.
because of ACC.
Mm.
That to me that would, well, I don't know. I'm not the legal mind. You are, Dennis.
Give me time to think. Just to take a step back to the discussion about the Nepata brothers. So hidden somewhere inside the ACC legislation, there's a little piece that talks about if you're out of the country for longer than
Yes.
6 months,
Yes.
you're not entitled to ACC.
Yeah.
So those like the Nepata brothers or George, I think it was, who was in Singapore,
Yeah.
he's outside 6 months unless there was some specific arrangement between NZ Defence and ACC via the government. Then most people who served and were injured are not entitled to claim under that legislation.
There was also another famous New Zealander who got caught by the same thing, and that's one B.G. Williams, All Black
yes.
winger.
Yeah.
He dislocated or broke his hip in a game, a test match in France, playing France.
Yeah.
And no ACC.
Mm.
Yeah. But there was a big hue and cry, because I remember somebody saying, so a guy breaks his leg committing a crime in New Zealand will get covered, and there's a guy playing rugby for his country who breaks it out of the country and gets no cover at the time. So huge anomaly.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know. I understood that when you're away on a warship, that was part of New Zealand, so you should be covered by ACC then. Wouldn't it be the same if you're in barracks in Nisoon or Dieppe, or that was part of New Zealand or not?
No, because we never owned them.
No.
We leased them from the Singapore government.
Yeah.
But different. Anyway, that's
we were squatters.
That's the past and kind of the current, because all those injuries are coming back to bite us in the bum or other parts of our anatomy.
Yeah.
If you're keen on what's happening kind of in the face of modern warfare, interesting little article on RNZ News this morning. Pop on there, have a look. A former serving New Zealand soldier talking about the modern tactics with drones and all that kind of stuff that goes on, how they're being deployed, and how the face of war is changing in that theatre. So that's a little bit of a do a catch up if you're interested. And the other thing, of course, if you've got some time on your hands, pop online, grab a hold of a book out of Amazon titled Unit X: How the Pentagon and Silicon Valley are transforming the future of war. And that's long been talked about as the relationship between the Pentagon and Silicon Valley. I would like to suggest that this book has been written by two people who were in that unit. And so if it's out in the public place, it's now out of date. And the other thing that we need to think about is, being from the 1970s and 60s, we have a particular worldview of how war is fought. Ships and big units and tanks and things running around all over the place. But consider this. Most of the world's systems, communication, finance, medical, energy systems, all online today, and are therefore all vulnerable to digital attack. So you can render a country absolutely powerless by not crossing the border, just by attacking its digital supply. And just yesterday I read that China now has some technology that allows them to read what happens in the undersea cables.
I saw that.
Which just happened to pop up, I think it was a couple of weeks after the Cook Islands had signed a mining research deal with China, amongst other things, for 5 years. And ask yourself, how many cables transferring information between New Zealand and some of our allies and partners pass through that part of the world?
Yeah.
Oh, well, don't make too many deductions, Dennis. You could be wrong.
Yeah. Talking of drones, I don't know if you've seen any videoing of the drones in Ukraine. And the poor old foot slogger is running down the road and a drone about 6 feet behind him.
Yeah.
He's trying to whack it with his rifle.
Yeah. So the
What a situation to be in, that it's got a hand grenade under it.
Yeah, and they crash into you.
Yeah.
And here's the other thought.
Yep.
If you want to shut down something really large and with a lot of people and a lot of technology in it, all you got to do is turn off the power supply. Ask Heathrow Airport.
Yeah, exactly. Good example, Pete. Good example.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Total chaos.
Yeah, that's some things to be looking out for in the future. The face of warfare as we knew it has changed, and I think it's changing on a daily basis as the Ukraine is proving to us, and we're learning more about what's happening in the technology side of the world. Less big chunks of equipment, less people put at risk through the use of drones, blah blah blah. So the digital world is going to be the war space, perhaps. Who knows?
Yeah. Don't leave your windows open, because I see drones going in windows and working their way around a building.
Oh my God. Frank, crossing the bars.
Right. Well, I have one this week. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I do not have his service number. Anderson Gary was joined as a communicator 1 bar 69 and then changed over to electronic warfare. Gary crossed the bar on the 22nd of March 2025. I have no further details on any service for Gary. That's all I have, unfortunately. We'll pass our condolences on to the family and friends.
Thanks, Frank. I have nothing today. So, Pete, are you in the groove for the last post? The ode, rather?
I was going to say, no, I haven't got any last post, but yes, I'm in the groove for the ode.
Thank you.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them lest we forget.
And don't forget, next month, Anzac Day rolling around. I think Templeton might still be looking for a few volunteers, a few helpers for the collections over a couple of days. And what else have we got coming up? National Council, 12th of April in Wellington. That'll be an interesting bun fight, I'm sure. And this Friday, Wigram is the end of month coffee day gathering there. And if you're there by 9:25, you'll get into the auditorium and be able to view the video about the behind the scenes carry on that was required to get the NZ 7001 back on the grass airstrip and to be parked up. So there you go. And there's also, I think, a post online about voting for Christchurch City Council to contribute to the building of a structure to put the plane under, I think, along with the P3 Orion. So pop into the Facebook page, have a gander. Oh.
Is Wigram not as big as it used to be? Because I've landed it on there in a Hercules, and
No,
it seemed to be a
it's
lot bigger in those days.
it was returned under the Waitangi Tribunal,
Oh, okay,
the local iwi, and it's a big housing area now. So they had a bit of a trouble. It was one of those very short landings. Otherwise, if they went off the end, they'd end up in the industrial area.
Very, very different when I used to cycle past it every day going to school.
Yeah. So
it used to be a huge place.
It's us. Anything else, team? Any other thoughts?
No.
No. Just the only thing I'd say is, if you're keen on the Waitangi Tribunal and what's going on, jump on and have a look.
Yep.
You don't have, you can fast forward through it if you watch the replays. So.
Thanks, Pete. Even if it's just for your own kind of information as to how things happen, some of it could be quite dry.
Yes.
But there you go. That's how it is.
Professor Patterson's on there.
Oh, okay. Yep.
From the Patterson report. So
yep.
Yeah. So
I noticed there was a good turnout with the army there, but it's just held in Waihuru, isn't it?
Yes,
correct, it is. The next
where
one's
where was the Navy, Frank?
Hey, I saw one. Chief there sitting in the back row.
Yes, but the next tribunal hearing is in Devonport in May, I think it is.
Yes.
So the Navy will get their chance up there.
All right.
Okay, team. Look, thanks for joining us, and for the people viewing, thank you for joining us today. Have a good week. Stay in touch with your comrades and your mates as we all gracefully age or disgracefully age, whatever. And we'll catch you next week. Take care. And if you need an assistance somewhere with negotiating your way through RSA support or Veterans Affairs, seeing as they're still on paper, give us a bell and we'll sort something out for you. See what we can do. Take care. Look after each other.
Bye.
See you, everybody.